Well, a tragic news coming in from the country of South Korea, where a Boeing 737-800 aircraft operated by Jeju Air crashed at the Muan International Airport in South Korea on Sunday morning. In fact, killing at least 85 passengers on board. In fact, a harrowing video shows the moment of the twin-engine plane skidding off the runway and crashing into a wall. The aircraft immediately burst into the flames. In fact, this is the visual on your screen, viewers, of the moment of the crash. In fact, within seconds, a huge black smoke rose into the sky. Visuals also showed flames engulfing parts of the aircraft. In fact, these are the exclusive visuals we are bringing to you on your screens. In fact, in the video, it appears the aircraft attempted a belly landing without its landing gear fully extended. The plane was carrying 181 passengers, including 6 crew members. Now, another visual has also surfaced, which has been released by South Korean television, which captures the moment of a bird strike that doomed this very aircraft. Now, the Jeju airplane was returning to Muan, South Korea from Bangkok, Thailand. Now, due to the mishap, domestic international flights all have been cancelled at the Muan Airport. Now, the new South Korea's acting president has responded to the tragedy and said that emergency teams have been mobilized. Meanwhile, the incident investigation committee is on the site to probe the cause while the airport remains closed. In fact, all flights have been suspending during the recovery effort. A tragic news coming in from South Korea, in fact, killing at least 85 on board, including the passengers and crew members. In fact, what we are learning at this point is that 6 crew members were there amongst the 181 passengers, and that very video on your screen of that aircraft. In fact, what we are learning at this point is that this is the Boeing aircraft which has been marred with this very tragic incident. In fact, this is the exact visuals on your screen of the moment of the crash, how the plane tried belly landing and then, in fact, it skid off the runway and rammed into the wall. In fact, I have with me my colleague Varghese joining us on the phone line to give more details on the story. Well, Varghese, a very tragic incident. In fact, killing at least 85 is what we are understanding at this point.
Well, however, the emergency services who are at the spot, they are saying that the death toll could go higher because of the nature of the crash. It is being said that initially from the Muan Airport, which is the wire services in South Korea, initially they have reported saying that 2 passengers were being rescued and there is an effort to in fact reach out to others who could have survived it. But as of now, the services who are at the spot said that the chances are quite grim, and therefore their death toll could go higher is what we understand. As we speak, there's a massive rescue effort that is being carried out around the crash site. The immediate effort was to in fact bring the flames under control because after the crash, the fuel had leaked onto the tarmac, as well as it was surrounding the plane, and it had led to the fire as well. And therefore, their first effort is to ensure that they brought the flames under control first, and therefore several units of fire tenders were in fact rushed straight towards the plane where the crash had happened. As the visual in fact shows, there are several speculations that are doing the round as to what could have led to the crash. There is one speculation that is being saying that the landing gear failed. That is because you can see the nose of the plane hitting the runway, and it is in fact dragging towards the wall and veering off the runway. So that could be one of the reasons what led to this entire crash, the failure of the landing gear. And as the aircraft does come up in huge with a lot of force as it lands in, and as it drags itself towards that wall, it resulted in friction leading to fire from the underbelly of aircraft itself, and therefore with the fuel leak it coupled towards this massive disaster that we in fact see. Eyewitnesses on the ground, well, they were in fact saying that they saw a huge fireball from quite a distance, and the aircraft after it had rammed onto that wall and exploded is what many of them say. Some of them came to know about the disaster after their when they were in the airport lounge when the glasses started to rattle. So there has been dramatic eyewitness reports also coming in of what exactly could have happened. However, the aircraft control says that the plane was making a normal landing as scheduled, but it is during the landing that the situation could have in fact become quite difficult. But however, as we in fact speak, there are reports of a bird hit that could have resulted in the current situation, is what we understand. This particular aircraft belongs to the 737-800 of the Boeing next generation, and is said to have in fact been in production for quite some time, and its military variants are also in production. And what we also understand is that it is one of those preferred passenger aircraft for a lot of airlines as well. So now detailed investigations would be carried out as to what could have led to this complete unfortunate crash that has in fact rattled South Korea and the world as well. This aircraft was coming in from Bangkok to Muan Airport when this tragedy had occurred, and it has been reported that the South Korean authorities are in fact trying to establish the identities of those who could have died in this tragedy. They are looking at it. What we know is that two Thai nationals, their identities have been in fact established, and efforts are on to inform the family and the government of Thailand on that. But further details and identities of the passengers are still being looked into. But as I said, there were also some reports coming in that it could be a series of events that could have led to this particular crash. The crash is thought to have been caused by contact with birds, and that led to the malfunctioning of the landing gear. So a bird hit could have resulted in the malfunctioning of the landing gear, and as the plane landed on its underbelly and was in fact moving at quite a speed because of the forceful nature of that particular landing, it could have resulted in this horrendous crash and the inability to control the kind of situation that it is. Meanwhile, as you rightly pointed out, the South Korean president has in fact reacted to this, and they have in fact expressed their concern about what has happened, and they said that all required help is being offered, and all required assistance is also being offered at the same time. But a big disaster at Muan Airport, and Jeju Airlines said that they are also launching an internal investigation to find out what led to the Jeju Air flight landing in such a situation, and probably as I speak there is more information in fact that is coming in that they are trying to establish the identity was of more passengers. It could be that some of them could be out in quite some time, and forensic experts are also being called in as well, and probably for some the DNA factor should be established. So that also is being looked into by the South Korean government.
Well, absolutely, Varghese. An absolute shocking incident coming to fore here from South Korea. In fact, Varghese, let's also talk about looking at the visuals. What is your assessment? Do you think the chances of survival here for the passengers who were on board and the crew members looks really bleak?
Well, we are not sure about the kind of situation that has unfolded. There have been cases of passengers, in fact, surviving such crashes as such, but really we are, in fact, dependent upon what the rescue team is, in fact, going to say about this. And we are, in fact, looking at the possibility of some of them surviving it, but it is said to be a very horrendous crash as being reported from the first responders on the ground. if the first thing that most of them, from the first reporters, said that most of them could have died, but right now only reports have suggested, coming in officially, that 85 of them is what the casualties we are looking at right now. But most of them saying that the death toll could increase because of this kind of crash that has happened. As you can see from the visuals, it's been you can see how the plane, in fact, has been broken into 3 to 4 pieces just as it rams into that wall of the Muan Airport. So it is going to be quite a difficult situation to handle with, and the rescue efforts are still being carried out. The first responders are on the ground, and they are trying their best to see what can be done. But meanwhile, questions being raised as to what could have led to this particular crash of a flight that was coming in from Bangkok to Muan.
Well, absolutely. This is a matter of investigation, exactly what led to the crash. But the initial reports suggest that it was a landing gear failure, and also another visual has surfaced where the plane was seen being struck with birds. In fact, a bird strike was also reported. In fact, to the viewers who are tuning in to News 9 at this very moment, this is a tragic incident which is coming to fore from South Korea. In fact, this is an airliner of Boeing operated by Jeju Airlines. In fact, these are the latest visuals which are coming to the fore. In fact, what we are understanding at this point, at least 85 people have been killed in this very tragic incident. In fact, continuously we are showing you visuals of the moment of the crash. The exact details, exactly what caused the crash, will be ascertained by the authorities on the ground in some time from now, and perhaps the responding teams are there on the ground. Rescue operations are happening at the full swing at the Muan Airport. In fact, what we are also understanding is that the Muan Airport has been closed for all sorts of domestic and international flights. Just to give you a rundown of exactly what happened with this very airliner is that around 9 is the time when we are understanding local Korean time is when this landing was happening at the Muan Airport, and then this plane was trying to make a landing with a faulty landing gear, and the pilots perhaps tried for a belly landing, but unfortunately the first plane skidded on the runway and then it rammed into the fence of the airport. These are the visuals on your screens, viewers. In fact, within seconds, the moment after it crashed on the fence of the airport, this you can see on your screens how the black smoke had engulfed the entire area. My colleague Verghese continues to stay with us on the phone line. Well, Verghese, at this point, now it is also very important to ascertain the cause of the crash and also to set the accountability, because cases like these keep on happening, and in fact Boeing is not new to such plane crashes. In fact, it's a new jet perhaps which has been actually mired with this sort of accident.
Well, this particular accident comes at a time when South Korea is, in fact, having a huge political crisis in its backyard, especially with its President Yoon Suk-yeol's imposition of the martial law and the impeachment of the acting President Han Duck-soo, and therefore it is going to be quite a difficult situation for the political establishment in South Korea to wade through this. However, it is being said that Prime Minister's office is what is right now functioning in a proper manner, and because of which, without that political upheaval, so most of the instructions are going from the South Korean Prime Minister's office. In fact, we have come to understand that Prime Minister Choi has in fact asked for officials to ensure that all resources are used to rescue the passengers and the crew of the low-cost airline Jeju, and he has also asked that the Chief Secretary convene an emergency meeting between the senior presidential staff to discuss on the crash and what help has to be carried out as well. So you see a lot of this happening within political crisis, which is also affecting the chain of command in South Korea. But right now, as I said, it is the Prime Minister's office that is carrying on with the official duties to, in fact, deal with the crisis at hand.
Well, absolutely, Varghese. This is a tough situation for the nation, both politically and now this very unfortunate incident coming to the fore. In fact, visuals do narrate a story which is perhaps a very, it's a very horrific story. In fact, the plight of the passengers who were on board is something which is also very much daring. Now, these are the two visuals, viewers, on your screens. On the left-hand side, you see the visual which has been released by a South Korean television, where it is being said that there was also a bird strike. So the exact cause of this very accident is yet to be ascertained, but the initial reports suggest that how a probable landing gear failure plus this bird strike could be something which has contributed to this very tragic plane crash in South Korea. And on the right hand side of your screen is the exact moment of the crash when the Jeju airliner in fact hit the ground and then perhaps rammed into the fence of the airport. And the moment this crash took place, in fact you can see in the visuals, first the plane started skidding on the airway, on the passageway, and then it rammed directly into the fence of the airport. The moment it rammed into the fence of the airport, you can see how the smoke and the fire had engulfed the entire area.